Alright guys, so kind of lesson learned or follow on to lessons learned. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. We'll see how we do. So I kind of got a lot of information here, but I'll try to get it out as quickly as possible. So prior to leaving on the trip, I had SWR, which is standing wave ratio, issues with when I was trying to tune the new antenna that I put on my vehicle. Using this Cobra 148 Night Watch ST, which is sound tracker. I'll throw a link in somewhere for that, and a video on that. So a little frustrated because I'm wondering if I had the issue all along, because I hadn't really messed around with tuning it, because I'd been swapping antennas back and forth and trying some new mods with a multiplexer, which I'll eventually probably put in a video up on that. And I thought maybe that was the issue that I was having. So I ended up, because this radio has the ability to, where you can do your own tuning with your own SWR meter, your cow. So I thought maybe, by off chance, maybe that wasn't accurate or whatever. So I bought the Astatic external SWR and watt meter to do the testing, and still I ended up narrowing it down after replacing coaxial cables and adding grounds and whatnot. It actually was the radio, because the weird part is following all the instructions and watching some of the videos on YouTube. Most people were your cable or your antenna configuration, whatever, where it's located at on your vehicle. Tried relocating it. I tried everything almost I could think of. Ended up being the radio. So that's out. And how do I know it was the radio? I pulled out the backup radio, which is just this Radio Shack one I've had for years. Still good radio. Plugged it in, tuned the antenna. Highest SWR ratio I got out of it was, I think, 1.4 after all tuned. The antenna was all tuned. Worked just fine. So and that was even with the multiplexer in. I like I said, I eliminated the multiplexer out of the system. And you asked what a multiplexer is. It's sold by Procom, and it is like I said, I'll do a video on it later, but it is designed so you can use one antenna, so you don't have to have an AM/FM car stereo antenna. You can eliminate that from the system and use just your CB antenna for both. I was skeptical, but so far seems like it's good after testing it out with this. We'll continue to test. So realizing that I was thinking I was pretty good on my communications equipment, and maybe I needed that I could move on to other things and not spend that much time on my communications, or at least testing and making sure everything's working right. Big mistake. That was there's another lesson learned. So I pulled out my emergency radio setup that I carry in a carrying bag, and there's a video I'll throw in for that that I did quite a while ago, and which of course I have the flexible whip antenna on it, which still works fine. But I have also, for the vehicle, I had a magnetic base loaded whip antenna. Of course, it's all torn apart right now because there's issues. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to tune it and test it too, because I never have. And lo and behold, had issues. Now I'm pretty positive that it's a cable. I did find, tearing it apart, I did find some some corrosion here and there that I treated a little bit, but it's still, I don't know, I don't believe that's the problem. I believe the problem is because as I was moving the cable around, because I had it hooked up to this radio for a while just to see what it would do on this radio, because I knew this radio was good. So I was kind of using that as my control. This cable, this coaxial cable for this is, it's crimped in there. You can't replace it. It's basically one piece. So this thing's trash. So anyways, back to the point. This has the weather radio function on it. I had it on there, and as I was moving this thing around, moving the cable around and kind of messing around with it, it kept going in and out, the receiving the signal for the. So I think I have a, like I said, a coaxial cable issue. There's no repairing that, so like I said, that's next on the list to replace. And I also ordered, because I found a good deal on an auction on eBay. I got it for, well, after shipping, $18, and I'll do a video on that. But it's a Cobra, I believe. Maybe, I don't remember the brand. It shows you how much I paid attention, right? But it was a good deal. It was like basically a carrying case. It'll look like just sitting in somebody's garage or in a storage closet or something for a long time. Guy got it from an estate sale. But it comes with a magnetic base that you can put like a fiberglass whip into, and which didn't include that, but it had the radio and everything else, instruction manual, and a carrying case. Pretty good deal for $18. So that'll be testing out when I get it, and I'll do a video on that. So to lead into, or to conclude, the whole point is, if you don't test your equipment, you can do a radio check with a radio with bad, even with a non-tuned antenna or an SWR issue because of a cable or whatever, and you're still probably going to be able to talk to somebody, maybe 1 to 2 miles away, maybe farther, depending on where you're located at, elevations and whatnot. But you're not going to get optimal performance out of this radio. And if you're trying to push even more wattage, like on single sideband, you're definitely not going to get the performance. And in fact, you may cause damage to the radio, which, I have to wonder if that's what happened with this and the previous owner, because I really haven't used it. I've used it to monitor, but I really haven't talked to anybody on it. So I was doing a commo check with the wife in her vehicle one day, and I was maybe 3 blocks away when I did it. So and it seemed to work fine. Well, it's only 3 blocks, it's not very far. So test your equipment, spend the money. I'm pretty sure I got this off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure I paid less than $20 or around $20. I'll try to throw in the price in later, but it definitely is worth its weight in gold to be able to test your equipment. And because like I said, you can do a communications check and you think, okay, it's working, but you don't know for sure. And of course, buying CB radios with the internal ability would eliminate the need for this, but it's still, I think, a great tool to have in your tool bag to help you out in the future. Speaking of which, I've been going along the last couple months, well over the year, and I've been just buying connectors and other things. I have connectors for not only CB, but my 2-meter setup, which I'll be working on here in the future, because I bought a study guide, and I also bought the ham radios for dummies, and I'm going to get my amateur license so that I can start using my Baofeng or Bofeng, however you want to pronounce it, 2-meter, 70 centimeter handheld. I also ordered an additional one as a backup, and hopefully potentially get my wife to get her license too after I get mine, so that we can communicate amongst each other. So that whole rolls in a whole nother category. So lesson learned, or what to take away from this, is obviously test your equipment, because you never know, and you don't want to find out when you really need it that it doesn't work. You're sitting there stranded alongside the road, or for some reason there's been an infrastructure failure, and this is your only communication device, and you're trying to get a hold of family, friends, for whether it's just for normal communications or for you need assistance now and it doesn't work. So get your comms up and make sure they stay up. Thanks for watching. This is Nomad 76. Once again, please don't forget to provide me with some feedback, subscribe, thumbs up, comments, whatever you got. Thanks for watching.